Let's demo some existing circuits. It is a Thursday and we are in Somerset, Massachusetts. This customer called us out to their local business to demo some existing circuits that are behind these newly framed wooden walls. Basically, they're going to be sheetrocking these walls with 5/8 sheetrock, so we have to make sure that we eliminate all these circuits or they're all going to be buried behind these walls. So the first thing that we started off with was that old alarm panel. We eliminated that and just took it right off the wall. Now we're going to focus on these two plugs. So one of those plugs was actually marked circuit number 33, but I want to make sure that I plug a circuit tracer in there just to confirm that and make sure that that's actually the circuit number. So now that we have that eliminated and turned off, we're going to trace out the other end of that 1/2" EMT because I did find two wires that were actually cut, and I want to make sure that I do a nice thorough job to make sure that those wires are actually dead and abandoned, and they ended up being abandoned, so I just pulled those right out of the wall there, and now we're good to go. Now we're going to focus on these other two circuits. There's actually an additional two circuits that are inside this 4-square box, so I'm going to make sure that I use the circuit tracer again to try to see if I can find those. And all the circuits actually ended up coming out of this LP-1 panel. This is a 12208 three-phase panel here. So we're going to take the panel cover off of that and see if we can pull those wires out. Now take a look. Once I had the panel cover off, take a look at how much of a rat's nest this panel was. We got breakers that are double tapped. We have splices all inside this panel. The wires are actually bulging out of the panel. This panel is just a complete rat's nest. So hopefully by us pulling some of these wires out of there, we try to clean that up a little bit. So now I'm going to pull those wires out of there, basically just eliminate all those wires completely. And since I have the panel cover off, I want to make sure that I do a nice professional and clean job. We vacuum out all the dust and debris inside this panel. I want to make sure that there's no future problems down the line with all that debris. Now, against these walls here, we actually have a 4 11/16 box, which is actually a fire alarm junction box, so we have to make sure that we cut in an access panel door. So this is actually a New Work style access panel, and we have to cut this in just because in any circumstance, we have to make sure that we have access to this 4 11/16 box. So I just labeled that fire alarm access panel. That way they know, hey, there's actually, a junction box behind this. Now we're going to try to seal up these 1/2" KO seals. There was like 8 of them that we had to seal up. There was also a 3/4 inch KO seal that we needed to seal up. And we also had to move this camera system. We had to move it above the drop ceiling. It was below the drop ceiling. So we took care of that for them. I also re-identified a bunch of those breakers on there. I labeled them. And the customer also asked us if we could just cut out this PVC old water line here that was abandoned. So I took care of that for them as well. So if you're in the Massachusetts area, give us a call. We are taking new clients, and I personally answer every single phone call.